beginner here, and I'm going right ahead by showing you the different pigments I prepared for pour, and all their names will be in the captions. So I'm using 4 of the primary pigments. I'm also going to use the True Silver Vivid Metallic Paint, and then 2 very ordinary acrylic paints, white and beige. Now they all have some pouring medium in them and a little water, and I stirred them really well so they're mixed nicely. So I'm starting with the 2 primary pigments up here. And yeah, I'm trying to create somewhat of an ocean and a coastline with a little imagination. I'm hoping it will look that way. So after I added the white acrylic paints, there are 2 more primary pigments here, and now my acrylic paint again. And I'm running out of the beige, so I'm adding the white to make it a bit lighter. Now I know it is not as much paint as some people use for pour. The reason is that I'm gonna manipulate it a little bit with my spatula, like you see here, so it doesn't take quite as much paint than if I just tilt my canvas. But of course, there are many, many different ways of doing a pour, but I wanted to try it this way. Now, not that I have a whole lot of control over what's happening here, but maybe a little bit more than if I tilt my canvas. So I'm mixing up the colors a little bit, but start with a clean spatula when I go from the sand to the ocean. And this is just a little bit of the vivid silver one, and I'm using a little craft stick to mix it a little bit and try to, yeah, give a little bit more interest there. But as I realized later, during the drying process, this all shifted a lot, and you will see it later on. The colors mixed, it shifted around because it is very liquid. And I had to dry it for like 48 hours. So here is my next piece I want to prepare. It's a little souvenir from Hawaii, and I am distressing it a bit so it won't be so slick. It is kind of sealed and very smooth. So that way my gesso will stick to it better. And also later I want to glue it. And again, I don't want it to be too slippery for me. So the gesso is dry, and I'm yet just using my pencil to draw out a mask. So I know these lines are a little bit hard to see, but in just a moment I will go over them with my darker Sharpie, and I think you can see it pretty well. So I'm keeping it pretty simple, just a mask. I did look up these designs on my computer to get a little idea of what they look like. And they're pretty simple, have very simple shapes and pretty easy to draw. So now I'm adding the Sharpie. And actually in the beginning, I had the idea of coloring it all with my colored Sharpies. I thought it was easier as it is a little small and the little shapes are small, and I didn't want to lose them if I get to it with paint. But as you will see in a moment, I abandoned that idea. Well, actually, I went through with it, then only to realize the colors weren't bright enough for me. And I went all over it again with my simple acrylic paints. Like you can see here, I basically colored the whole thing, and then I thought, nah, that's not the way I want it. So I went to the paint, and actually, it worked really fine, and I should have just done it right in the beginning. So here I'm just coloring it using mostly primary colors and couple pastels like the blue and the green are a little lighter. Now this video is part of a hop, so please do go down in my description box and follow the lineup so you don't miss any of the other wonderful videos. Now I really enjoyed doing the pour. I only done 2 so far, and the primary elements are really wonderful colors, very brilliant, and I enjoyed working with them. It is something I always wanted to do to get some of these pigment powders. So thank you so much, Leslie, for supplying them. So I'm nearly done with my little element here, which I will add to my canvas as soon as everything is dry. As I mentioned earlier, doing pours is something very new to me, but something I always wanted to try. And I've only done two so far, and you are seeing the second one here. And it's a lot of fun because you never know what it is going to look like when it's all dry and when it's all done. And I like the element of surprise and chance. And here you can see what I mean. The colors really shifted. They shifted downward, they mixed more, and it gave some very intricate designs right there at the coastlines. And I was happily surprised how much more details I got after it was all dry. So here I added my little surfboard with some tacky glue, and I added something heavy on top of it so it will glue. And while that's drying, I thought I add my modeling paste as well, just to embed the bottom of the surfboard a little bit. Now everything is dry and I can color it. Again, I'm using my beige acrylic paints as well as some more of my pigment powders, which are activated with some acrylic medium. Now I just want to give this part a bit color to blend it with the background a bit, but not too much. I like it to stand out, and I think it gave a nice base for my little surfboard. Now, at this point, I was debating if my canvas needed something else there on the right side, but then I decided the pour itself is a fantastic focal point, and the little surfboard kind of completes it, and that's all I really wanted to do. I think most pours really stand on their own because they're so pretty. But of course, in this case, I did want to add a little something purposeful, like a little something which did not develop by chance. And yeah, I'm hoping when it's all done, it will look all right. So I'm fiddling here, and at the end, I'm also adding a bit of the silver vivid color just to the raised areas of the modeling paste to give it a little bit of a shine. And yeah, then I couldn't resist to add just a little something more. So these are just very simple beads in light blue and turquoise color. I added some of my tacky glue to the edge there, and now I'm just lining them up using my tweezers. And yeah, I'm speeding this up a little bit because it takes a little while. And then I'm also adding a few just randomly um, towards the front of the little sand hill here. And that's pretty much my last step. So I will show you the finished canvas in just a moment. One more look at my finished canvas. So here is the very top, middle, and bottom. And I really hope you enjoyed watching me put this together, and I know you will enjoy watching all the other wonderful videos in this hop. So please don't forget to go down in my description box and you will find all the information you need to participate. Before I go, I wanted to show you what these little primary elements look like. They come in these nice little containers. They have a top which can be used like a little shaker if you want a small quantity, and of course you can open the whole thing. I won't do it now because I don't want to spill them. So these are wonderful colors. I really enjoyed working with them, and I know I will use them again soon. So that was it for today. Thank you so much for coming. Bye bye for now.